Hey everyone, welcome back to another locals video. I know we just posted one, but this was from this week's recent locals, which you guys voted on and picked the Wano style package for green yellow Yamato. Very excited. One of my favorite decks. Honestly, I've been playing Yamato a lot, like all through set 6 and beyond. And this list is pretty much 95% Wano cards, like even to our top end. I'll have a list at the end and we can go over it a little bit and the game plan strategy. I've posted a few videos on before, but before we get into this, again, just shout out to my locals for allowing me to film this. Shout out to everyone playing, right? Make sure to be kind to them as they are all being very generous to me and allowing me to record this. And I know, how we talked about last week, how locals is just a fun time to enjoy yourself and hang out with friends. And that was wrong, okay? You should always be playing to win, okay? Because we did amazing this week, baby. We did amazing. Yamato on top. I'm kidding. I am really kidding. But this was a fun week, okay? We went from a leader that couldn't swing to one that swung twice, essentially, with the double tack, right? But before we really get into this, remember, I've got my affiliate link for Nen Garden and TCG Player in the description. If you want to check out any of Nen Garden's really dope playmats, you can use code Straw Hat Pecan for 5% off, right? I'm probably going to be picking up either the Shanks or the Luffy or the Law. Let me know what you guys like in the comments, right? Even the Joker, right? I don't play Dofi, but this is just sick, right? So check that out in the description for like any of those playmats. Be sure to use the coupon code to save yourself some money, right? But we got our round 1 here. We are going first. I think we lost the dice roll, but that's fine. Even though this particular build, I don't even mind going second with Yamato. I know it's like a lot of aggression, right? But going first, obviously, swinging that AK on 3 down, it's not bad. And once again, just kidding, all right? It never is about winning with locals. It's about having fun and just learning. I think the biggest thing over winning is just learning from your mistakes. And honestly, these videos have been a great source for myself to learn from my mistakes because I make a ton. And hopefully you guys can learn from my mistakes as well. Looking at the hand, what do we got? See, we have the 5-drop Banished Double Attack Yamato. We've got a 2K counter Hiyori, Okiku, Momonosuke, and then the Momonosuke blocker. So not horrible because we are going first. We can at least play the Momonosuke down. And then even if we don't search with it on 3 Dawn, not against Black Yellow Luffy that we would want to really give him that 2 life immediately because that puts his Egghead Luffy on quicker. Not that on 4 Dawn he could play that unless he used Hiyori than the kid version of Luffy. So he could technically, right? But we still want to be careful with when we swing as Yamato into Black Yellow Luffy because putting them closer to leader ability at an awkward time for us can be really bad. Back when Black Yellow Luffy was first coming out, I used to play a Fortress version of Yamato, which actually did really well in Black Yellow Luffy. So we end up keeping this hand. The bad part about this is we don't see any Hody in this hand, which is a great card against Black Yellow Luffy. Something to keep in mind, so something that you want to be mindful of looking for. And if you do end up searching with any of our searchers, because we run 2 in this deck, the Momonosuke and the Atama, just be mindful and observant of when you see a Hody in your search to give you an idea of how many are coming up, right? That's a big tip that I've picked up on is even if sometimes you have a searcher, maybe it's not the best idea to search with them in case you end up bottom decking a card that you really want. So we just go 1 Dawn, play Momonosuke. He goes 1 Dawn for Garp and ends up whiffing, which is probably pretty good for us, honestly. Meaning that he might have found some Raigo or Geckos in there, Kuzans, right? So we end up just getting that pass back. We search with Momonosuke, get the 5. Here, I'm actually in a really good position because notice again, don't see any Hodys in this 5 cards. So we're another 5 cards deep, don't see any Hody, which just raises the chance of it being in our life or the next card we will draw. We end up taking the Otama. At this point, it would probably be stupid for me to play the Otama to search and risking bottom decking a Hody. However, Heart of the Cards was on my side today. We end up not finding the Hody. So here, looking, probably should pick up that Izo 2K counter, not gonna lie, but I think we go for the Momonosuke just to keep searching, right? Because I kind of want to find the 4-drop Hiyori to do the Hiyori into 5-drop Momonosuke blocker to heal that Otama to our life, right? So he swings with Garp into Momonosuke and then goes 5 at us. We take, still no Hody. Kuzan coming out. We draw a Hody. Because again, we did 2 searches, didn't find any. So we got 5 Dawn now. Search with the Momo. Also, shout out to my opponent here. He's the one who picked up these Yamato sleeves back when they weren't out in the US. So huge shout out to him. And I think we end up picking up the Momonosuke blocker because Momonosuke, like similar 1-drop searchers that have to rest themselves and a Dawn to search, can search out themselves. So we take the 5-drop Momonosuke. However, the Otama searcher is different. She can only search for green land of Wano characters and then can't pick up herself. Good rule of thumb if you're a bit newer to kind of learn the difference between searchers is if it's a 1-cost searcher that just plays itself out and searches, you don't have to rest itself or a Dawn to search. It typically can't search for itself. Here I was gonna play out the Momonosuke, but I thought he took both of his life and didn't play it, but he has a trigger debating if he wants to play it out. I assume it's the Luffy or Raigo, something to kill one of my searchers. Then we play out the Kikunojo, which now he is at 2 life. We would be able to get that heal if he KOs. He goes 6 at our life. We take. And he gets the Sabo blocker out. Trashes a Kuzan. And the buff Luffy. So the Luffy that buffs himself. Oh, and also typically searchers that have to rest themselves and a Dawn can search for themselves. And typically searchers that can search 2 different types of cards. Like the new Purple Law searcher that can find both Heart Pirates and Straw Hats can only search 3 or 4 cards rather than the typical 5. So we end up playing out the Momonosuke blocker that heals a Land of Wano type character other than Momonosuke to the top or bottom of your life face up. So then we put that Otama back to our life. That's the kind of whole gameplay loop with all of this going on. Just a lot of searching, picking up cards, and then using that Momonosuke blocker to heal. We go 7 into his life. He ends up blocking, giving us a 2K. And then we use leader ability to attach 2 rested Dawn to go 8 into that Sabo, since our opponent is at 3 less life. That's Yamato's secondary leader ability. So right now in hand, we got a couple of the... We got the Yamato secret rare. A little bit late to play that out, unfortunately. Would love to see the Hiyori 4 cost that cheats out a 5 cost earlier, so I could probably play that out before he could KO it with like an Egghead Luffy. The closer we get to the late game, the more he can just keep recycling those Egghead Luffys to KO those 5 cost characters with any kind of reduction, right? Like he has a Kuzan out, which is why I kind of want to swing into this Kuzan as fast as I can to get rid of it. So he swung 6 minused from my Momonosuke blocker. So I'm thinking, even if he doesn't have the Egghead Luffy to KO it, it doesn't really matter. I'll just block out rather than give the counter. Because I don't think he's going to go at my Kikunojo to heal me. Then he goes 6, we give it 2K. He plays out the buff Luffy. Still debating if he wants to buff, I think. Looking through the trash to, I guess, piece together what he could draw into. Which is always a good tip as well if you're a bit newer. Looking through trash gives you, again, more information on what you could be drawing into, right? Because if you know your deck, well, you know, got all the ratios down, you could remember, just give yourselves a better of a chance to guess what you could draw into. So we got him at 1 life. He is Still a big hand. We could have probably just even split to try and put a little bit of pressure on, but because I don't believe he's buffed this turn. But we just go Otama to get the Hiyori. So we're on 9 Don here, so 4 for the Hiyori. This is the on-play. Just re-looking at the card. It's been a while since I played this deck in general, and in person, I think I played this deck like once in set 7 or 8. And it's been a while since I played it, you know? So Hiyori on-play trashes herself, and then you play a 5-cost land of Wano other than Hiyori. 5 costs or less, and then you draw a card. So I use the Hiyori to cheat out the Momonosuke, which heals that land of Wano character, the Otama, and then I draw from the Hiyori's effect. And then we just play another Kikanojo and pass. So just trying to develop the Kikanojo because they're really dead cards in my hand, and on the board they're either a 6k power swing, which can easily become an 8k power swing if we use the leader ability attached to Rested Dawn, or they heal us, right, which is good too. So he uses Luffy ability, goes 8 at Kikanojo, which fair enough. Luffy with enough Gekomorias can easily grind people out, right? So he doesn't care as much about healing me. Totally valid, right? Getting rid of that 6k body is honestly probably more of a priority when he runs into the issue of just taking too many swings, right? So he does leader ability to put the Egghead Luffy and then a Sabo. Uses Gecko, get the kid versions out. Does use the Egghead Luffy to pop the Kikanojo. Heal. I think we're at like 6 life at this point, which, yeah, normally it's like, why would you heal your opponent to 6 life? That seems crazy, but you can see his gameplay loop starting to come online now, right? Getting out those big bodies, developing blockers. It's kind of hard for us to swing into this now because we have less bodies, but because we're healing so much, drawing so much, we searched a lot in the early game. We didn't see those Hodies, you know? We got one from, I think that was life or something. So we just play out Hodie, rest his blocker, attach the Rested Dawn, use leader ability to attach 2 more Rested Dawn to Hodie, swing 13 of life, just burn some counter out of his hands. And we can do the exact same thing next turn because we're still at 4 life, have a blocker, we're very healthy. He's going 8 into Hodie. We give 1k counter, 9. Give 2k just because it's an easier defense, 8k versus our life, even if I don't need the Hodie, right? Say he puts out more blockers, right? I can just play this second Hodie and attach all Dawn to that rather than splitting with 2 characters, I think. And I can swing the Hodie at a like a rested character, right? But yeah, so it is worth it to keep the Hodie up. I was just going over the alt art for the Hodie. Let me know in the comments, but I like the older Hodie alt art more than the PRB 01 Hodie. Maybe I don't think I've even seen the PRB Hodie in person, but I'm a big fan of this one, the older one. Like I said, I've been playing Yamato since deck came out, so I've had my Hodies blinged out for a bit, all right? And also, that's the good part about playing these very off-meta kind of janky decks that aren't super great, is it's really easy to bling out, you know? Pretty much every alt art is like $5 or under for this deck list right now. And I've also just had the deck for so long, right? So here's just another Gecko playing out Luffy and a Sabo. I will say, this match, we got so super insanely lucky with getting, you know, 2 Hodies here. And the fact that he doesn't have 3 Sabo blockers. If he had a 3rd Sabo blocker at any point, we're kind of cooked. And then he just goes 11 at Hodie. We counter out. And then we just top deck another Hodie. That's kind of crazy to be at 4 life and have 2 Hodies in our hand. And I can just keep doing it. He has 4 in hand. We just Hodie, take top life, use the leader ability to 2 rested. Well, that's the 3 active Dawn and then 2 rested. So go 13 again at life. And he has to use whole hand to get out of it, which is really great for us because now we can kind of clear his board. So we go 8 at Sabo, 6 at Sabo, and we pass. I think he might have 2 in hand. I'm not sure at this point. But yeah, now we just have a 3rd Hody. So it's kind of locked in win at this point, realistically. Unless he can play 3 blockers. But even if he could, I think we could still probably split with leader, right? So now he's just trying to clear a board. So he's going 11 at Hody. I'm debating saving one, but I know I have the 3rd one in hand, so it doesn't really matter too much. Like I said, unless he can get 3 blockers out somehow, then we could be in a problem, but we're still 3 life. Uses leader ability, pitches the Raigo. I think the last card is that Kid Sabo. Just draws you trash it too. No cards in hand, but he's got 1 life and a blocker. So this is actually a pretty good spot. I've got no cards on the board. Yeah, but now he's got nothing in hand, and I've got a Hody, so it's pretty much GG. He's a 7k leader, so all we do is Hody, rest the Sabo, and go 7 at life. He bottom second one, and then just, yep, GG. This is also kind of the game plan for that Fortress build before, was just burning them out and just trying to use Hodys, right? Hody is your best friend in this matchup. For any green matchup into Black Yellow Luffy, I feel like Hody is just super good. But that's just kind of an example of one, we got really lucky, he got a little unlucky, and knowing about like searching and just keeping a mindfulness of your deck, right? Like we searched, I think like 4 times, so that's like 20 cards that we went through, didn't find any Hody Jones, so that just made the likelihood of us getting them from our next draw or life a little bit higher, so that if, say for an example, I had any searchers late game, I probably shouldn't use them in case I bottom deck a Hody Jones, because that's my win condition right now. But yeah, GG to round 1. Got pretty lucky, I'll say that. Getting into our round 2 against Perona, shout out to this man over here, Bring Perona. I love always playing against him. And I was saying before the match, we got an like kind of an old school matchup, you know, like, well, not old school, but like set 6, you know, a few sets ago, right? You know, Yamato versus Perona. Very just classic matchup. We're just going 8 of life. I think I don't remember if we won or lost the ice roll. Maybe if I did, I should have taken a second away from him. But he's just going in 5 of life. We 2k counter. Kind of want to counter out earlier when we can, because I feel like we'll probably have to play into the late game a little bit. Even though I think Perona has a bit better late game than us. He gets the Borsalino out, and I really want to get him down to 3 or less life, so we can have the possibility of getting a trigger body out. But we go 3 for Izo, rest him, and then just go 7 at life. But I'll say something in akin to the same tip of paying attention to what you're searching and seeing with your searches. Notice we have a Kikanojo and a Nekomamushi in hand. That is, I run 8 copies total between the 2 of those. 4 Kikanojo, 4 Nekomamushi. So those are my trigger bodies out of life, right? So I have 2 out of the 8. That's a good chunk of them. So the likelihood that more are in my life is kind of low. So maybe I shouldn't be playing for the chance that they get out of life, right? And should probably just play to play them out. However, Perona being able to rest any 4-cost character and then just KO with Ryuma or just even swing into it means that I can't safely play out Kikanojo right now. Even knowing Perona, right? You could be playing the Brook that trashes. And here to just remove my board, he minuses the Izo and then use T-Bone to KO. So here we're going up to 7 Don. And here my best play, I think, to get rid of that Borsalino is we can swing 5. Maybe he debates on taking, maybe doesn't. You know, maybe he wants cards because he countered out a little bit. He's been playing out, I mean, not countered out soon, but like played out a few cards. Like that 2k counter T-Bone, right, to KO our Izo. So we use the Hiyori 2-cost to put the Onami to top of life, which can trigger to KO the Borsalino. Borsalino is opponent's turn only immune to KO effects, right? So if a trigger card can KO him, it can still pop the Borsellino. So then we use the Momonosuke to heal that Hiyori to bottom life, which, you know, there's a chance that that bottom life is a zero cost, right? But I only run 2 in the deck, and I have 1 in my hand, so unlikely. Maybe a better play is I could have put the Hiyori to top life, just get that 2k counter back, so that later on I could put that 0 cost to my bottom life with Hiyori, right? Because if you have 1 life left, you can use Hiyori, take that last life, and then put the 0 cost in there. So that's maybe a little bit of a misplay I should have done, but I didn't know if he would swing with the T-Bone. He probably would, so maybe I should have just done that. But I wanted that Onami out. So he's got 3 in hand right now. Looking at our hand, I know we got a little bit of a zoomed in close up, but we're at 9 Don here. I'm thinking about a few things. So I think we have 4 life on our opponent, 2 on us, so we can use Yamato to KO that Brook, but then we just have a 5k swing to T-Bone. So yeah, maybe he's more likely to let that T-Bone go so that he has more counter in hand to protect his life from like a leader swing, right? So we do that, we get to clear the board, that's always good. But we don't get the heal from Yamato, which kind of sucks. And we're getting kind of down there in life too, with no Momonosuke blocker in sight, with like a combo, something to heal with it. 5 our life. We, I think, counter out here with Nekomamushi. Debating if I should have countered out with the Momo, but he uses the 10-drop freezer leader, which pretty good. We get the Hody. Here's the thing. I debated playing Hody here to clear that 10 cost because he has 3 or 2 in hand, I think, at this point. I could have Hodied rested it, but then it would have been at 1 life, and it's not always great, but if I could kill that 10 drop, we put him in a pretty good spot, or us in a pretty good spot. So just go Kikunojo Yamato, so hopefully we can get 1 double attack off. We pass back. We don't have a ton of counter, but we'll see. So he goes 13 at our Yamato. Goes through 5 at our life. We counter out, and I think he plays out a couple of blockers here. Ice Age are, yep, 4 for Ryuma, and then a Frozen Nante. So here's a few things. I probably should just go for game at this point. I think he has only 2 cards in hand, right? Like, what world should I not really just go for game here? 3 life. I just need every single attack to connect, and using Hody at this point doesn't leave us a lot of Don to play with because we don't run 2 million volt Maru to buff ourselves or anything. So we would have to have run the likelihood of no Don in it. But here we go, 10 at Doflamingo because we use a 4 Don to swing 9 with leader to get that blocker out. We play Kikunojo for another 4 Don, leaving us 2 active, and then we can attach 2 rested because he has that 3 or less life. So we go 10 at that Doflamingo, and he lets it go. So yeah, maybe he didn't have a lot of counter. So maybe we should have just gone for game. And here he goes 5 of life, then 6 of life. Plays out another 10 drop. So yeah, he had a brick in hand, but then you never know what he has in life too, you know? What if he had all 2k counters in life, then we would have just lost there because we would down to like 1 life, and he would have had a 10 drop, Ryuma, and leader ability, like leader to swing at us. At 1 life, we probably just would have lost there. Here, we're at a pretty rough spot. So he's given us not a lot of options. We only have one active character that can swing, and I don't have a lot of great options in hand. You know, I can't use Hody to clear board. We don't have a lot of counter. We got a 2k and a 0 cost. So I kind of want to just kill that Ryuma. So yeah, that's gonna go through. That's 16. But he's debating, does he pop one of them with Ryuma's on KO effect, which fair enough, because if you again leave up that Kikunojo, that's more pressure to you, and at 3 life all I have to have is 1 double attack leader connect and those 2 characters on board, right? But if you are confident that you can win on a following turn, it's totally valid to pop the Kikunojo, even though it heals me, you know, to just like relieve that pressure. But he ends up letting it go, not KOing, which is honestly kind of rough for us because 10 Don, he has a 10k power body and leader swing. He knows we have a 2k counter though from our last life, and we have 4 in hand. So yeah, debatably, if we have a lot of counter in hand, the swings could be a little awkward. Like say you swing 11. Can I get out? I can get out of an 11k swing from Doflamingo at this point with, like, if I had all 2k counters, right? 7, 9, 11, 13. So I just need at least 3 2k counters and a 1k counter. You'd have to go like 12, 14. I think that would probably guarantee it, right? But he goes 7, and we 0 cost a Hody. Kind of giving away, we talked about it later, kind of giving away that I had another Hody in hand, because if you 0 cost a Hody, you know, you probably have another Hody. But kind of just running the likelihood that he finds a blocker off this brand new, and I think he has another blocker in hand already. So just hoping, I guess, that I don't have a Hody or something. But again, 3 life. I'd have to look through his trash to be like more confident on like what amount of like 2Ks he's got or something. He just goes 10k out of life. He plays out the Rosinante. 3 Dawn up. I'm thinking like, are there any actual counter events that he could be running? So we just, I probably should have just rested a Dawn, even though I don't think there was any counter events. He has 1 in hand, so we just go 7 in life to guarantee that, unless again he had like a counter event for like a, I don't know, like a 2 cost that goes up plus 4,000. So we go 8, but actually I think I'd take it back, and he was fine with it. I think at this point he was kind of bricked up anyway, so it didn't really matter. But the smartest plan is to go at least like 6 or a 7 with the first Kikunojo, then attach, you know. But he takes, and you know, yeah, we see he had a couple of bricks in there, right? Another 10 drop and a Ryuma. But yeah, I think honestly I was in a really bad spot there, and probably just bluffed my way out of it by having, you know, the 2k, the bottom life, and enough cards in hand. Not a ton, but like enough to kind of keep you to guessing. All right, and again, shout out to this man. I always love playing against him at locals. Always a fun, great time. All right, shout out to our 3rd round opponent. I don't know, the camera's a little bit wonky. I am so sorry about that. My iPhone is like absolutely shattered. I did the worm with it in like a fanny pack at a Halloween party. I was dressed as Ken, so I had a fanny pack on. I did the worm with my phone in it, so as I was going down, it kind of smashed the heck out of my phone. We get first against Purple Luffy, so pretty good. Play out the Otama. We find some good, we find so many Land of Wano. However, Otama can only search green Land of Wano characters, so we bottom deck all that stuff and go -1 for our hand size, losing on a 2k counter. But luckily for us, he goes 2 Dawn, just passes, so no Robin blocker or even a Law to find like a 2k counter. And then he gives us, was that 3 cards? So not bad, not bad. And then he goes 4 Dawn up to 5 with leader ability. Like Purple Luffy is actually a really great matchup for us. Even if we don't, it's like similar to Whitebeard, where even if we don't get a leader swing to connect, the likelihood is he'll get down to 3 life by his own stake. So if we get any card out of life, our trigger bodies, we're in a pretty good spot. We just go 6 at life here. He blocks, gives us some counter, I think a 1k. and then we use Hiyori to play out the secret rare Yamato, draw a card. Again, just to apply more pressure, right? So he uses lead ability, down to 3 life. Goes up to, was that 8? Because he's at 5. 4. Yeah, 8, right? Yeah. Because he uses Sanji, puts it down back, gets that back active, goes 5 into secret rare. Here's so one mistake you could argue, right? I kind of counter out pretty aggressively here because I want that added pressure. I could probably play late game, right? By just letting this go and swinging with leader to get out more counter or stuff, but I wanted to keep that just to have a second swing in case he doesn't play out a blocker. But after I saw that he left that 2 Don up, right, like it's kind of obvious that he has a blocker or something else coming out, right? So we just go 7 and 7, get the 2 blockers, which is pretty good. We're still at 4 life. However, if I let that Yamato go and I don't have any characters to swing with, it kind of puts us at a pretty big disadvantage because Purple Luffy plays out so many big bodies that we really can't compete against that. You know, I've got my 9-drop Yamato and Hody, but we can't really compete against like the 9-drop Rush Luffy or 9-drop Lin, which, you know, puts out the Lin. And I knew that was probably coming, but still I countered out kind of aggressively last turn, so I couldn't save it this turn. So he pitches a Big Mom to put that Yamato to the bottom of our deck, and now he's back up to 4 life. So sad. We go up to 9 Don here, 2 to put Onami Banish on leader, and we just go big 7. So that what was that, 12 Banish life. We get a Zoro and a Songoro, pretty good, but not like the best because we're into the late game, so kind of late to play out either of them. Especially at 2 life versus Yamato. But he goes 5 at life. We take, hoping to get some trigger bodies. Then we got that Onami Banish, which can't pop anything. We get the Okiku, yay! And that's the risk that I take taking life late game, because yeah, we could have countered it out of that 5 swing. Probably should have countered out of that 5 swing. Knowing that he didn't put any down on leader, he's probably going to play out Rush Luffy, which he does, or a bunch of blockers, right? So Rush Luffy goes 10 out of life. We're down to 0 life. We're on a timer. So he did leave a Don up, right? So here is, well, let me wait for my hand to bring up because I'll go over the 2 plays we could do. So here is where I made a mistake and I kind of gambled on it, and we talked about this after the match and kind of went into detail on it. I believe last match or round he left up a Don 2 after Big Mom, right? But he still took the swing anyway. I play Hody. He has 3 cards in hand. Leaving a Don up 2 turns in a row, I'm thinking that he has Gum Gum Giant. So if I rest that Don with Hody Jones, that means that Gum Gum Giant is now a brick in hand, and it means he only technically has 2 cards in hand, right? Because he can't do anything with the Gum Gum Giant. So my plan is he's at 2 life. I rest that. I can go 8 with leader. He would have to have 2 2Ks in hand to get out of the 8K, and then I can go 10K with Hody and 6K with Hikinojo, or 8 and 8, whichever, which I feel pretty confident in. Or my other 2 options were, or my other option of the 2 was playing out that other Onami Banish I got out of life, because that 2 Don for Onami is essentially free in the sense that I can use leader ability to attach 2 rested Don to Kikinojo later on with it, right? And that way I could split, like he has 3 cards in hand, so I could go 11 with leader with Banish, right, by attaching 6 Don, and then I technically have, what is that? 4 Don left with Kikinojo, so I could go 10. Or I could go 10-10, right? I could go, no, like 10-11, right? Because Kikinojo is a 6K. So I could, 12. 12 with Kikinojo, right? Because I use 6 down on leader. And, no, just 10. I think I can go like 10-10, which is still pretty good numbers. Because if I can banish those last 2 life, And then he still has 3 cards in hand. They would have to still be pretty good counter in them. Even with the Gum Gum Giant, you run the risk of not drawing into any counter, right? So I could go like 10, 10 with banishing out those last 2 life, and I probably would have got it. But it just is what it is. We'll watch it play out here. So we rest the Don with Hody. We go 8 at life. And he counters out. So we're kind of dead here, but I'm like, oh, okay, GG. But then I'm like, oh, wait, I can just go. I can still have a chance. If you have all bricks, I can go 5, and he got the counter. So GG. But yeah, we go over here. I think he just bluffed on the Gum Gum Giant, and I fell for it. But, you know, it is what it is. Both, I think, were valid strategies for going for game. Both had their risks. And it just happens that sometimes you use the wrong thinking. I think I top decked the Hody, which kind of put it in my brain a little recency bias, seeing the Hody, that I should play him out. But I think I'm doing my math here a little bit wrong. I pick up 4 Don. 4 on Kikanojo was only a 10k swing, so I could have gone 11 banish 10k, right? Which is still good numbers. 11 banish and then 10k. Again, if he has 3 cards in hand, it has to be 3 2Ks or Gum Gum Giant and then a 2K counter still. So I think we did the math, and that 11K, right, and then 10K would have got me it, actually. Because he countered 2 2 1. So he could go just up to 10K, right? I think that was a 1K counter. Sangoro in his last one. So would have just scraped by doing the Onami banish into Kikanojo's swing. It is what it is. It is what it is. I thought I was playing out the more safer play by resting the Don, but it is what it is. Ended up that he left up the Don in case that he got Gum Gum Giant from life, right? Expecting me to split with Kikanojo and leader. But shout out to our last round opponent for the night, Enel, which is really a bad matchup for us. You know, that double attack doesn't help us so much into Enel. But we end up winning the dice roll here, going second, because he just goes Flampe into 6 at life. Or no, Shirahoshi into 6 at life, right? So we have 2K. I kind of wanted to play a little bit more on my curve, is kind of using the Hiyori on 4 to play out a 5 cost, but we just don't see it. So we go 6 at life, and he takes, because, you know, as Enel, you don't really care too much about taking that life. We use Otama to look at top 5, hoping to find a Momonosuke searcher, honestly, for that last 2 Don, and we do. But we find other stuff that I kind of wish we didn't until we played out the Momonosuke. So then we search with the Momonosuke. Also, I think this is like one of his... Actually, I don't know how much he's played on Enel, truthfully. We take out the secret rare Yamato, because, you know, and maybe we can get like a banish swing with that. That's pretty good. And we pass. So now what? He's at 5 Don. He goes with the Shirahoshi blocker at that. And then Nami. Just trying to clear my board, I guess. But I don't know. I think he probably should have just swung 5 at the Momonosuke and left the Shirahoshi standing. Truthfully, but I don't know what is in his hand to think about other plays. Because I don't think you need to rush me down, you know? And now we have the Hiyori. We're at 6 Don. So we go 5 at Shirahoshi just to get it out of the way. And we go 1 for Otama to look at top 5. Find a green land of Wano character. And we whiff here, right? Yep. All yellow land Wano. So that's the unfortunate part. I don't run the event, you can be my samurai in this build, which Otama was always able to find, I feel like. So we just kind of limited our green land of Wano ones with this. Really, we're looking for Hiyori or Izo 2K counter or Momonosuke searcher. So there's still a lot of targets for Otama, right? But he plays out another Nami to KO our Yamato, but his hand size still a little too big, so he doesn't get to draw with it at least. And then goes 6 at life. And we're going to counter out here. And then he goes another 6 of life. We take, get another Hiyori. And here I'm a little bit worried because the aggression's actually kind of working in his favor. He's been able to clear my board. And also just still got a big hand. He's still at 2 life here, so not in a great spot. So we use the Hiyori combo to play out the Momonosuke to heal Atama. We get another 2k counter, great. And then we just go 9 at Nami. Both of us kind of playing for a late game here. We'll see just who gets more bigger bodies. I want to be at either decent life to play out Hody, right? Or we have even the option for our 9-drop Yamato, as we have 2 in hand. But we don't really have a great choice for Hiyori, being we don't have any other Land of Wano characters we can really cheat out with it right now. But I think our opponent at 8 Dan here. But yeah, Yamato has always just been a rough matchup for me into Enel because of that healing at 2 life. We hit him, he just heals back to 1. So we just need characters on board, especially. So he goes 6 at life. Or no, I think he's at 9 Dan, right? Yeah. Because we went second. So he is at 9 Dan. And we take the Atama back. We put the Momonosuke at the top. And then he swings 5 at us, so we get it back. Totally just another thing about playing these really off-meta weird decks is that people don't really think about the combos, right? He just kind of gave me back the Otama Momonosuke combo to do again. So, and he immediately said to himself, like, oh, I kind of just let you do that again, huh? And I'm like, yeah, but like, that's what happens when you play decks that people just aren't used to playing, right? So don't be critical on my man here. He just, you know, who runs this weird like Land of Wano build at locals or just in general anymore? I love it. I love it. It's a lot of fun. So you just do the whole combo, right? Hiyori, trash yourself to play out the Momonosuke heal, and we get to draw. We get another 9-drop Yamato off of that, right? And then I think we go 10 at Nami because we don't really have, you know, Momonosuke can't heal Momonosuke, so I can't. It's not like I can heal that blocker with the other blocker, right? We just go 10 at Nami to try and clear that board. I'm expecting some more big bodies to come down now. He's at 10 Dan, probably like an ace or something, but he's at 2 life, so if he heals, he doesn't get the rush. If he plays a Katakuri again, we can probably just get that Momonosuke back later, but he probably put it to my bottom life. But plays out the Nami. I think it's like his 3rd or 4th Nami, so yeah, unfortunate for us. Unfortunate us. But he trashes a 2k Veggie, which is a little good for us. You know, his hand size is getting a little bit lower because we're not hitting him. And he's trashing stuff with that Nami. So yeah, he goes at life, and then I think like 10 at life, some big. Now we're down to 1. We just go 9 for Yamato, nothing. Heal, but now we got a big body that he can't really get rid of unless he Raigos, but he's at 2 life. So if he does Raigo, he loses a life, which is a good trade-off for us. Not really. I'd rather keep my 9 cost. I gotta be honest. I'd rather keep the 9 cost. But, you know, we at least get something. He goes 5 life. We counter 1. I do want to get down to 1 life again to use another Yamato, but we take 8. And yeah, I probably should just counter out the 5. I don't know why I did it like that. I honestly kind of expected him to not. I don't know what I was expecting from him there. I was expecting to kind of get left at 2 life so I couldn't Yamato again, but I don't know. When he swings the 5, I was probably should just counter out there. So we go 6 at Nami. He lets it go. And we go 11 at Katakuri by attaching that 2 Rested Dan from leader ability to Yamato. And see, he looks like he's going to counter out here. Kind of good for us, you know, just getting that hand size down. Go for game later. So yeah, 0 cost in an Amaru and a Kuzan. I don't know why I keep doing that, to be honest. I think my biggest mistake is like trying to predict how my opponent's going to swing at me, and oftentimes it's wrong, you know? Like I should have just countered out of that 5k swing rather than that 8k swing. I don't know. But then he goes just huge, like all done at the Yamato to just guarantee it dies. And then he goes 5 of life. You go 2k. And it goes 10 of life. You take it the Nekomamushi. Huge card right here. This Nekomamushi with the 2 Don attached can attack active characters. It was really good. But we gotta play Yamato heal again. And now I'm thinking I wanted to try and get rid of both characters, but I just don't have enough Don, unfortunately. So I'm just gonna go, I think, big attach 2 rested Don to Yamato and attach that last rested Don to Yamato. Go 12 of Katakuri. I could have gone 12 of Ace, but wanted to try and guarantee that we get rid of one of the bodies. So that way, if he plays another rush Ace, we live because we can counter out at the 5k swing at least, right? If he... Well, no, he's at 3 life, so he wouldn't be able to rush with him. Gives banish to leader because I think he wants to leave his Ace standing for right now. And goes Katakuri to heal that. And then we just goes 5 life that we have to counter out of because it's banished, right? But now we just healed back up to 4 life, which is kind of rough for us. Just 1 in hand though, and we top deck our Onami. So we go 7 life banish, get rid of that Onami, which totally good plan for him because he puts him at 4 life, and if we hit him, that Nekomamushi gets KO'd through Onami's trigger, right? But now we can, perfect time, we can use Nekomamushi's ability, right? Attach 2 rested Don to him through leader ability because he's back down to 2 life. And then I think we just stack the rest of our Don on to go to Ace, right? So he's at 7. It should be 6 Don. Yeah, 6 Don. So 14 at Ace. And that goes. I'm thinking about swinging here, but we just pass in case that, you know, he gets some kind of body out of life. Not sure. But pretty good sequence of events there for us, honestly. He goes 9 at Nekomamushi, gets rid of him. And then Kadatsu to pop our Onami. And then 1 in hand still. So we have a lot of options. We can still Hody. So, and he has 1 Don up. So we just go 7 of life. He takes no trigger, I think. Pitches Raigo, so no counter. So 2 in hand. We just go 9. And yep, did this big number. So GG, went 3-1 with Yamato. Very fun night. I think we ended up taking 3rd. Totally cool. I love this build. I love the Wano build. I don't know. I just love Wano. So just fun to do. And yeah, I think things worked out pretty well for us because we got extremely lucky. I know that I joke all the jokes at the beginning about winning, right? But like, in all seriousness, we just got super lucky, right? I went into this locals expecting to just get absolutely smoked, and the only reason we did so well, I feel like in a lot of terms, is we got pretty lucky. I'll be the first one to say it. But shout out again to my locals. Really fun. All nice guys. Thanks for letting me play with 8 copies of Hody Jones in my deck. Shout out to you guys. I'm kidding. But we'll go over the list real quickly. So here's the deck list. I'll leave it down in the description as well. We got 4 Hiyori, 4 Izo, 4 Momonosuke Searchers, 4 Sigurero Yamato, 4 Hody Jones. That's like the only non-Wano character. Plus the 2 zero cost event. And listen, Onami counts, all right, even though it's not Land of Wano type, right? But this is obviously from Land of Wano, okay? So 3 technical cards that but like this kind of counts, all right? 4 Otama Searcher, 2k counters, 4 9-drop Yamato, 4 Onami, 4 Kikanojo, 4 Hiyori 2k counter, 4 Momonosuke blockers, 4 Nekomamushi, 2 zero cost events. Again, I just really love it. It's, you know, obviously just very Wano style, you know. Let me know anything you would do differently for any other like Wano characters. Thought about using like Okiku, but it's just another brick, unfortunately. I thought about just stacking more of the 4 drops that, or ones that just trigger themselves out, right? Like Dendro, pretty good, you know. I never used him, but he's a 5/6, so that cost might help against certain builds, right? The Duke's Dogstorm, the Inarashi, he's pretty good. I think Trashy one is pretty bad, but against Blue Doflamingo, I would say this is a pretty decent card, being able to KO something, because they'll probably be protecting their life. But yeah, let me know anything you do differently. Of course, hope you enjoyed. Again, nothing to take too seriously because it's locals and just for fun. We're playing these off-meta decks and everyone's just having a good time. We all had laughs during the event. It's just a fun time, right? Nothing to take too seriously. But hopefully, if you take anything, learn from mistakes, right, to do better next time. You know, even if you're playing these fun, silly off-meta decks, you can still always learn from mistakes. And I think we highlighted a few good ones. Of course, let me know anything you would do differently for gameplay-wise from any of my matches. You know, if I made any mistakes that I didn't point out, leave them in the comments so we can all learn from them, right? Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe, and hope to see you all in our next one. Bye-bye.